Welcome to Ron Knows Stuff. Today is my special guest star, Brandon from Car Questions Answered. There he is.
Hey, yes, nice being here. I appreciate you bringing me on your channel and letting me talk a little bit about something that doesn't have to do it with cars. So that's always nice to nice to do.
Yeah, I think so. And what's great is that we're going to be able to capture more of your personality that everybody seems to love. So I'm just going to ask everyone to please remain seated for the entire performance. So we're going to talk about things that we tell our younger selves. We're going to break it down into 5-year segments. We'll start at age 15 because before that, who cares? So we'll talk about 15 to 20-year-old. We'll talk about love, money, how to act in
Love,
public.
love.
Yes.
We're getting way off topics with than cars.
Oh yeah, man. We're going to go far out. We're going to go everywhere. And what's great is you have a very entrepreneurial mind, and I have a more of a corporate mindset. So we're going to take advantage of those two distinct personalities and really go. Plus, I am a little more, I don't like to use the word older, but more seasoned. Let's try that.
No, we're the same age, Ron. I mean, you can't be a day over 34 years old.
Yeah, bless your heart. And I am from the South, so I know what bless your heart means. So,
Oh, I lost my water already. Oh, there it is.
uh-oh, well, that's all right. I have some here for you. Um, so 15 to
Not
20.
water in your cup.
Yeah, no. Well, I have to keep the body lubricated with whatever oil I need. So 15 to 20-year-old, I mean, that's a really kind of an awkward age. You're still in high school, but you're about to venture on out. You've got so many things pulling your different ways. You got to start making adult decisions. So things that I would tell my 15 to 20-year-old self, it's kind of, well, don't get caught up in high school. That's not your best life. That's not your best years. The best is yet to come. Things I would tell myself to do differently in society. I was kind of a butthole. And I'm 5'5", and when you're that short, you don't really want to be a butthole because you can get your clock cleaned out pretty good. It did teach me though the gift of gab, and I was able to talk myself out of many situations. But yeah, I would tell myself to be kinder and gentler and not such a butt.
Yeah, I would say I was probably in a similar vein to you. I thought I was bigger than I was, as far as confidence wise or whatever. And yeah, just really being a real person is very important, especially when you're younger, because the real world, I mean, for me, it really just kind of kicked me in the butt. And this might be for later on in life, but you develop these kind of habits as you're going through school and really trying to impress people that you don't even really care about.
Yeah.
And you'll find out. I mean, going through high school, if there are any younger people that are watching this, that you're probably not going to know 95+% of the people that you go to high school with 10 years down the road. So the things that you think are so important in your life when you're at that age range turn out to be nothing later on. And really, if I could say really anything to a younger crowd, is start trying to develop some kind of world skill, whether it's looking into knowing what to do with your money later on. I talk a lot on my channel about cars and car payments, and just being able to set yourself up when you're getting into that 15 to 20-year-old range. You're going to have your first car, you're going to start driving. And I didn't want to talk about cars, but I have to. This is something that I preach a lot on my channel, is
Whatever
that
you
if
want to
you
talk
can
about.
start at that age with no car payments, if you can go out and hustle and get a little job, if you have parents that you can do things for to be able to make some money, or if you have neighbors, go cut grass, whatever you can do, scrounge up $2,000, $3,000 and be able to buy your first car. It's going to be a beater. It's going to be junk. And if you buy a car around that range and learn how to work on it, learn how to do your own maintenance, then you're going to set yourself up for a much more successful future. Just not bleeding that money every month from a car payment. If you can go out and buy one for cash and then learn how to maintain it yourself. And if you go through life without having a car payment from day one, then you're going to be 10 years, 20 years ahead of anyone else in your age range financially, just because you don't have that weight, that burden of a car payment. Another thing that I'll add on with payments is, I mean, debt. Just stay away from it. I don't mind. You know what? I'm not even going to go that route, because I was going to say something about a credit card and building your credit, but really, for the most part, you don't need it. I mean, the only thing that
No.
you'll ever need credit for is buying a house and getting a mortgage. And there
Yeah.
are ways to build your credit other than going into significant amounts of debt with a credit card, with a with auto loan debt.
And I know we said we weren't going to talk about cars, but I do got to share a couple of. I gave my kids, if they had a reason to have a job or a car, they had to have money in the bank. They had to have a job or a job lined up, and then I would give them $1,000 towards a car. And of course, there's strings attached. I get a key, and I taught them. I would buy the biggest pile of poopy I could find, and I would teach them auto mechanics, from the bumper to welding to oil changes, tire rotations, brakes, everything. So my daughter knows how to drive a manual transmission. She's 26 now, so you know she
That's
can.
rare. That's rare. Even
Oh yeah,
even people my age, they have no clue how to drive straight drive.
yeah, yeah. They all learned the basics of auto mechanics and no debt, and I'm very proud of all three of them right now. They just have beaters that they may be ugly, but man, they run on the inside, and that's all that really matters. So what I'm hearing you say is, at the 15 to 20-year-old, you're setting yourself up for your adulthood. You want to start practices now that are going to affect you. It's like the foundation of a house. You want to build your foundation strong at this age. You want to make sure that you're setting good financial habits, good relationship habits, and just really prepare for adulthood. Now 20 to 25, you're an adult. You're starting to do more responsible things. You're more accountable for yourself and your actions. You can't rely on your parents as much as you could when you were, up to this age. So, you know, let's explore that. What would you tell 20 to 25-year-old Brandon?
So I early in my 20s, I was lazy, and I was still a child. So I started buying and selling cars. I mean, I was probably 23 years old. So when I actually started doing it, but before that, like I worked at Sears, I worked at Chili's, I was a server, I worked at GameStop for some amount of time. I had jobs. I didn't have a career. I didn't want a career then, and I was going to college. And I mean, what I would tell myself is that, you know what, I mean, you don't have a whole lot of time. You gotta get after it. I know I say that, like, I started buying and selling cars when I was 23, but and that's still young. Even me looking back at that, it's
Absolutely.
young to feel like I got after it. But even at my 20-year-old self, like, I would be even, I mean, leaps and bounds over where I am now if I would have gotten started 3-4 years earlier than what I did, because the actual growth when I started to actually put my head down and work hard, um, it just, it really expands upon itself so quickly. And those years are so important, but because you don't really have anything else going on. And like, me and my wife didn't get married until I was 24. So those years before that time frame, I could have had us set up so much better financially had I not been lazy, not sit on my butt while I was going to college and play video games all day when I wasn't doing these dead end jobs that I didn't want to be at anyway. So I really wish that I would have done that to set me and my wife up better financially in the beginning. Um, because I didn't get after it, and because I wanted to have things that maybe I couldn't afford, that I got myself into debt trouble and used credit cards and ran them up. And whenever me and my wife did get engaged, I didn't want us to get married immediately, because I wanted to take care of my debt and I didn't want it to be hers, because when me and her got married, we were one. And
Sure.
at that point, I knew that my finances would then become hers. My financial problems would then become her problems. And I didn't want that to happen. Now she wouldn't allow me to do that. She said, you know what, we're already at this point, we're together. So we're
Right.
going to tackle this together. And it made it so, because she had an actual real job and a good job whenever we got married. So it made it to where I could focus on taking out this debt while her good job paid for our needs and everything. So it made us stronger financially having to deal with that. I don't regret going through what we went through, because it set us up for ways to deal with money in our relationship
Absolutely.
better later. But if I had to go back and tell my 20-year-old self, hey, let's buy only things that you can afford, get after it, stop being so lazy, and grow up a little bit. Because it as soon as me and my wife got married, it's like something clicks, like, oh, I'm responsible
Oh yeah.
for not only myself, but for my bride too. And I have to take responsibility and stop being so lazy, and just wake up. And that's the thing I would tell to my younger self is, hey, you're a man now. You gotta do man things. You gotta get after it. You gotta be responsible with money, and you got other people that are counting on you. So you gotta step up.
Do you feel, and this is the baby boomer in me talking, do you feel like video games consumed more of your time than they actually should have?
Oh, absolutely. I would say still to this day, I am a addict of a video game. I now, since starting this YouTube channel and running our business all at the same time, I haven't touched a video game in the last probably 3 months. Um, just because, I mean, it's not the number one important thing to me anymore. I
Yeah.
still try to make time for it. My wife's been pushing me actually to to
Really?
turn my brain off and play some. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean, you've got to have some kind of outlet. I mean, everybody's got everything. It sounds like you have drumming, and that's something that you had when you were a kid or you were younger. And everyone's got to have some kind of outlet. But video games, like, I don't even want my son to grow up playing them, because I
Sure.
know the addictive nature that they can have on a person. Um, and you really have to be in control of that. And that's when I was younger, that was something I'm definitely not. I'm getting brighter. My lights are doing something crazy.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
It's my
And
effect.
it's just something that I didn't have under control. And I think my generation and the generation that's younger than mine,
Uh-huh.
they have it's such a hard thing, because you can literally go into these fantasy worlds. You can literally turn on this TV, hold this controller, and you can turn your brain off. And at that point, nothing else can really matter if you're if you're playing something like this. And I know I hear it from the older generations. Video games are a problem, and I'll say yes. Video
Yeah.
games are a problem. Now I think there can be a good thing. They help you learn technology if it can be controlled. But that's always the problem, is if something can
Yeah.
be controlled.
Where do I want to be 5 years from now? And how do I get from here to there? And it's never too early to start thinking about that. And I think that's a lot of things you said were very practical about getting your finances in order, because a lot of people today don't think about tomorrow and or the day after that. They just live for the moment, live for the day. And you just can't do that. And you will find that you will enjoy your life so much more when you have disciplines in place, and you've got, you can't hit a target unless you know what you're aiming for. And by doing some of the things that you were saying, they're going to narrow your focus and help you see your target and get you there.
And
So
I can tell you that me and my wife talk about this a lot. We talk about small sacrifices right now to make life better later. So
yeah,
one thing that we're working in our life right now, I mean, it's a good example. About a year and a half ago, we sold our house, and I mean, prices were crazy, so we sold it, and we say,
sure.
you know what? This crazy amount that we got for our house, let's sell it, and then let's rent for a little bit because we know prices are elevated,
Yeah,
and prices, we feel like home prices will come down. So we'll do that. We want to buy a nicer house later on anyway. So let's stack up some cash. So we hate renting. We're living in suburbia hell and HOA, and we can't stand it. And
oh my
I know there's some people that love it. I can't do it. But we've been here now for a year and a half, and prices aren't coming down the way we want them to come down. So obviously we're getting antsy, and we're like, okay, well, should we just go look at house? Like, no, we're going to keep with the plan. We know
sure.
that home prices are going to come down some. They have to. Homes aren't selling the way they were, and we're already seeing price reductions coming through the system. So let's keep stacking up cash. And worst case scenario, home prices go up a little bit or they stay about the same. And you know what? A year from now, we've got more money to be able to give a
Absolutely.
bigger down payment
Yep.
and be able to pay off our house sooner. So these are kind of things that we're doing right now in mine and my wife's life to set ourselves up for a better future. We're sacrificing right now because we both hate being
Oh,
in a rental
absolutely.
house. Yeah.
But
And go ahead.
oh, well, and I agree with you. You do have to make sacrifices today so you live a better tomorrow. But there are little things that you can take a piece of to satisfy today's urge. You know, you can walk model homes and figure out what colors you like, what colors you think are going to last 5 years from now. But yeah, I mean, you do want to sacrifice, but you still want to enjoy today, but keep tomorrow's bigger picture in frame. And that's what I hear you say, which is good
And
advice.
that might be something that I'm telling that my future self is going to tell me right now is maybe, okay, don't bust your butt so hard and enjoy the moments right now, and not try to make a better future for yourself as much as you're trying to, because you still need to enjoy the
Yeah,
moments too. And I
yeah,
think that's something that I have a hard time with, and me and my wife talk about a lot, is that I have a problem with, okay, I want to work because I want to have time later. And you know what? I might have that time later, but I'm going to miss this time that I have right now, especially because I have a son. He's 4 years old. He's about to turn 5. And it's very important to me that I don't miss this time now. So it's hard for me to find that balance to set us up great later, but still have that time that's sacred between me, my wife, and my son right now. And that's a tough balance. And that's probably something that I'm going to, in hindsight, want to have done differently than I'm doing now. I hope not, but you always want
well,
to do something better.
absolutely. And we always have flaws. We make mistakes intentionally. So, well, we don't intentionally make them, but when we do make them, that's a great learning opportunity. And that's when you learn the most, is
Yep.
when you make that mistake and you have to live with it. And wow, I wish I would have. So I'll tell you something for your later life to tell you now, things that um, that I'm experiencing right now, because I'm
Oh, my
61.
lights are being weird again. Stop. There you go.
Okay, I'm 61 and I'm working until I'm 67, because that has always been my mentality. And quite honestly, my job is one of those that I can I can keep going. It's fine. It's an enjoyable job and it pays very well. So I'm happy. Um, but my wife is always stressing about money. How are we going to be able to retire in that short time frame? So what I've done is I've created an Excel spreadsheet, because she's a numbers person like I am, and I'm sure you are, and I know your wife is. No, she's not. Oh, well,
No, she is definitely the numbers person. I like
oh,
numbers
okay.
too, but I'm not
So,
an analytical person. That's my wife. She is the analytical person.
so have her work up the numbers for you and show you where
Mhm.
you are. Because I'm telling you, my wife is like freaking out. We're going to retire. We're not going to have any income. And hold on a minute, we will. And once I show her the revenue stream that we're going to have, um, she goes, "Oh," and that helped her relax and enjoy. So have your wife chart out where you're going so that you can say, okay, well, I don't need that much. I'll be okay with that much. And it might help you enjoy your life today while still keeping the hustle, because you got to have the hustle.
So I wish it were that easy in our case. We have a business that if we slow down, we
Oh
make
yeah,
less
no.
money. We don't make the same amount of money. We have a YouTube channel where if I put out less videos, I'm probably gonna make less money. So I
And
wish
ignore what I
we
said.
could
keep
I wish we could factor
pumping
it
it
out
out.
that way. Yeah.
Keep pumping it out, brother. Something we haven't talked about is health. And you got to take time to take care of yourself. And something I wish I did was get a better, I guess, an exercise routine, something so that I've got, every day I should wake up early and go for a walk or do something. And any of that sound like a good idea or something? What are your health?
Yeah, I've always been really active.
Yeah.
My problem is I like to
Oh,
eat.
pickleball. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I play a lot of pickleball. It's fun and it especially if you play with the right kind of people, you can actually run and get some good exercise with it. But
I've seen
um
some
yeah,
pickleball videos based because of your comments on it. I watched a couple of YouTubes on it. Some of those people are really aggressive in it.
yeah, you can really smash the ball at a couple of people and they'll hit it back at you. But I mean if you get the right crowd, you can get some good exercise. Now, I mean there's a lot of old people, really old people that
Thank you.
play too, and you're not gonna get any exercise if you got that
Right.
kind of group.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean just going we're off topic. Getting the exercise routine is very important. And what I've noticed is that um when I am more active, when I make time for myself to actually be active, my anxiety goes down. So it's not
Very.
necessarily even just a physical exercise. Like your body needs to release in this kind of way to it's good mentally too, because
Yeah.
you can feel like, well, okay, maybe you're not being productive in business in a certain aspect, but if you're being productive on health, our bodies we're built to work. I mean, we were created to be workers, and
Sure.
whether we're not really working physically in our jobs, um your body wants to be active. It needs to be active, and when you're doing that, then this you can have massive stress relief just from being active. So it's not only physical, it's mental too.
Yeah, and it'll help you because your 20s into your 30s is your go 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 period, and by having those releases, you got to do something. I got her the night. I don't know if you've seen it, where she's throwing axes at the axe board we have out back. But she's
That's terrifying. My wife gets mad at me. I don't want her anywhere near. I don't want her to know how to throw knives.
Let me tell you, buddy, she is deadly with those. My God, she put three in a score, circle like that, just three, and asked me if I had any questions. I said, "No, ma'am." So
My wife watches all of these like crime shows and stuff. I feel
yeah,
like she's just always trying to plot how to get away with doing me in and burying me in the backyard.
check her search history, see what she's up to. You never know.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Ron, if I ever disappear off YouTube,
I'm
then
coming
send a
for you,
search
brother.
party to my
Yep.
house and start digging up my backyard because that's where I am at.
Okay. Maybe that's why you're renting.
Yeah, exactly. If
Yeah,
she just has like a new flower garden in this one spot in our backyard, then dig that up.
yeah, yeah. If I see a hat there and a biscuit.
Yeah. I would say too, there was something
Yeah,
else that I missed in the younger
sure.
ages. Go ahead and start investing. You have
Oh,
so
wow.
much potential growth from when you hit 18 and get like a real job. Even if you just put away like $100 a month and just you can throw it in index funds, you can throw it in growth stock, mutual funds,
Yep.
anything that's going to follow the general market. Those years are so valuable. That's something that I didn't do. And because the public education system, they don't teach investing. They don't teach you how to be good with money. They don't teach you how to stay out of debt or run away from credit cards. That's something that's not taught in the school system. And it's very important that you start as young as you can. If you get into a career where you have a 401k, make sure you're maxing it out, getting the biggest type of return that you can on your money that you're making now, and just pretend like that money that you're putting away in these investments, just take it off of what you think you're actually making when you're budgeting and everything, because that's so important to your future, is that you're putting that money away now. Because I mean, it's going to double every 7 years, and it's just going to keep compounding on itself. And that's the way to reach early retirement. If that's something that you want to do, or being wealthy, if that's something what you do, you have to start investing now. I don't care what age you are. If you're not investing, you need to start investing now.
So, your advice is very sound, and man, if I could tell myself that, I absolutely would. I started at, I think, 26 with $50, but that's long ago. But sacrifice a little today so you can live large tomorrow. And
yeah, even so, any amount that you can put away and start investing, put it away. Set yourself an amount every month that you're going to invest. If it's $25, just do it, but do it every month. And when you're able to get a raise, when you're able to get a better job, keep increasing the amount, but just do it. Just the biggest problem that people have about saving money is they just don't do it. And if you set yourself on this schedule that, okay, this $100 a month, it's a bill now, and I have to pay it to myself. I have to pay it to my future, and there's no compromise. I've got to do it, and you got to do it now.
And one of the things that we did was we opened up a separate savings account at a different bank, and we don't even look at that. We look at the statement, but we don't have electronic access to it because we don't want to touch it. We don't really want to know it's there, and it's just growing. And going into the later years now, let's just take it from 25 on up. What sort of advice do you want to tell your younger self?
So this was the part. Okay, let me go back a little bit. So this was the portion of my life where we were kind of ramping our business. One thing that I wasn't great with, that I feel like I'm much better at now, is actually managing people. And what I would tell myself, my professional self at that point, is make sure when I'm hiring someone, that I'm just not hiring out of desperation, and I'm actually getting people into my business that, how do I say this nicely? I'm just going to get people that are going to fit onto my team and fit with working and having a common goal, and just pleasant people. We've went through a lot of people in our business that didn't care to be there. They were just there for the job or whatever. And I feel like I have a really good team now, but I feel like if I would have had that mentality of actually taking the time and not trying to just obsess on hyper growth, and I would have taken the time to, okay, slow down. It's okay if we don't sell that many cars this month. And if we have to shut down, or close our office for one day a week or whatever, because we don't have the manpower, I wish I would have rather gone that route and hired more slowly and hired the right people, because I feel like my business would have taken off even faster than it did if I didn't have to go through a lot of team members that didn't fit. They weren't in the right place. They weren't the right people on the right place on the bus. They just didn't fit, and we knew that at the time, and we gave I mean, me and my wife, we both have big hearts, and we gave um, too many chances to a lot of
Yeah,
different people, and it
sure.
end up every time we gave, with the exception of Alex, we gave Alex a second chance, and we're so happy we did. But every other case that we actually gave someone a second, a third, a fourth chance,
Yeah,
turns out they always would take advantage of us
yeah,
time after time after time. And there was a relief whenever that separation happened from our team, even to the point where we would have other team members come up and say, you know what, I know that was hard, but thank you for doing it, because they did not fit and they were making our lives miserable.
so what
So
I hear you saying is hire somebody that fits the personality of the business. You can train them to do the job, but you can't train the personality. You can't train their ability to act within the business and, get along with everybody.
yeah, and I guess that's I'm taking it more as a business take for that, because that's what we were so focused on from those time frames. But if you want to take that into your personal life, I guess what I could say is, like, we knew that they weren't a good fit when they were there.
Yeah,
I would say, when you know something to be a fact, if you know something to be true in your life, act on it. And that's
yeah,
something that we didn't do. We kind of just kicked the can down the road. No, if you know that there's a problem, if you know that there's something that's not right in your life, in your
yeah.
business, with your relationships, do something about it today. Don't wait. You need to figure it out right now.
So what, I have a daughter. She's the middle child, and daughters. When you have one, if you have one, you're gonna love it and you're gonna hate it. But
I've got one little boy, and that's it. We done.
yeah, good for you. Yeah. So my daughter was wanting to. Yeah, trust me. That's why this is all gone from her, and she knows
Oh,
it.
I want to show you under my hat.
So she was ready to start going out on, dates. So I was taking her, to pick up this little boy that wanted to go to the movies with her. And of course, I'm right there. So as we're driving along, I gave her this piece of advice. I said, you need to find out how he likes to take off his band-aids. And she looked at me and I said, well, if he just rips them off, then when you're done with him, you say, hey, look, this ain't working. See ya. But if he, slowly peels that Band-Aid off, then you're gonna say, hey, look, I got extra schoolwork. I'm not gonna be able to meet with you. Go out with your friends, have some fun, and I'll catch up with you when I get all caught up, and slowly take, break off with them. So until she met her husband, every guy she went out with, she would ask them in front of me, oh, how do you take your Band-Aids off? So we had a lot of fun with a lot of unsuspecting victims there. But and she would, if they were a slow Band-Aid peeler, she realized that wasn't the kind of guy she wanted. So she just, yeah, no, he's gone. So
Isn't it funny how that analogy just works with almost everything in
everything,
life? Because I mean, if
absolutely,
we'll go back to like the financial stuff, if you
yeah,
have debt and you want to get rid of it, get rid of it.
rip
I
it,
mean, just yeah, stop going out to eat, stop
yeah,
spending money on other things. If
yeah.
you want to get rid of it, get rid of it.
Don't prolong the
And
agony, just yank it.
no, yeah.
Yeah,
Stop kicking the can down the road. If you want to do
yeah,
something, if you want to start a business, if you want to start a side hustle, if
hmm,
you want to, I mean, if you got to fix something in your relationship, me and my wife have been through. I mean, we've been married almost 11 years now. We've been through a
right,
lot in our marriage, and I mean, if you've got to work on things in your marriage, if you want to be a better father, if you want to be a better mother, if you want to be a better member of your community,
yeah,
do something right now. And
yeah,
that's something that we could talk all day about, but
yeah,
that analogy is perfect. It
yeah.
Stop pulling the band-aid off slowly, just get done.
Yank it. Get. Just take care of the pain today. Don't
Yeah.
linger on. Yeah, and um, you talked a little bit about finding employees that fit, and from a corporate perspective, that's I would do cattle calls. We'd hire 300 and some odd people for a brand new store, and I would try and find folks that would fit the personality, and and that I was trying to establish in that market. And I would make sure that they could get along with the other people I hired. And it's so important that they understand that if you're applying for a job at this age, you want to make yourself likable. And I would tell that to my younger self. Don't go in an interview as arrogant as I would go. Be humble, be gracious, and show them that you are part of the team and are willing to be part of the team, and everybody's going to love you. That's a big takeaway for me.
Yeah, you just touched on something. Always know that you know nothing. So
Yeah.
What's that? There's a saying, the wise man, no, so the fool thinks that they're wise, and then the wise man knows that he's a fool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So you never go into any situation thinking that you just know everything. That's something that sometimes I struggle with. If I feel like I know, okay, this is the right way, this is how we're going to do it, and I don't need to hear anything else from anybody else because I know exactly how we're going to do it, that's
Yep.
foolish.
Yeah.
Just yeah, to make sure that you always know that you can always learn something.
Set yourself up for success. Listen to others. It's the collective is so much stronger than the individual. And I lead a team right now that I tell them I'm just a figurehead. I'm just the figurehead. They're the actual people. I'm a tool for them to use to be successful. So use me wisely, and they do. I work with a great group of people that we all look out for each other, and have enjoyed great success. So I guess it's probably time that I know how valuable your time is. My time on Earth is dwindling down. No, I shouldn't say that. But I don't want to take up too much more of your time. So let's close it out, and just
all right. So I'll say something real quick. All right.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed to Ron's channel, make sure you subscribe. And if you put down in the comments, what does Ron need to do to get you to subscribe? He'll do it. So just put down in the comments, and he'll do anything you want him to do to get you to hit that subscribe button. And make sure you like this video.
Please.